The boy's hands were shaking under the table. He was 12 years old, and he hadn't said a single word since the bailiff walked him in. Judge Harrison looked down from the bench, tired, ready to move on. Another case. Another kid who fell through the cracks. He'd seen 100 of them. Do you have anything to say for yourself, son? Silence. The boy just stared at his hands. The judge sighed and reached for his gavel. In his mind, this was already over. Dismiss the excuse for a defense, hand down the standard sentence, move to the next file. That's how these mornings usually went. Then a chair scraped against the floor. An old man stood up in the back row. Faded green jacket. Rows of ribbons on his chest. A cap that said veteran in gold letters. The kind you only earn by surviving things most people never have to imagine. Your Honor, wait. The whole courtroom turned. Bailiff stiffened. Judge Harrison's pen stopped moving. Sir, this is a closed proceeding. You need to sit down. But the old man didn't sit. He walked forward, slow and deliberate, like a man who had faced down worse than a judge's stare. He stopped right beside the boy's table and pointed straight at the bench. Before you decide his whole life in the next 5 minutes, you're going to hear mine first. Nobody moved, because something about the way he said it, steady, unshaken, made even the judge pause. If you believe an old soldier's word can still shake a room, and that courage doesn't retire with age, hit that like button right now, subscribe, and stay with me. Because what this veteran says next is going to change everything you think you know about this boy. The judge folded his hands. You have 2 minutes. The old man nodded once. Then he looked at the boy, not the judge, like he was the only person that mattered. His name is Caleb. He lives 3 doors down from me. Every single morning for the past year, before school, he shows up at my porch. Doesn't knock. Doesn't ask for anything. Just sits on the step and waits until I come out. Judge Harrison frowned. Why would he do that? Because 6 months ago I had a stroke. Lost feeling in half my left side. Couldn't tie my own shoes some mornings. And this boy, his voice cracked slightly, just for a second. This boy started tying them for me. Every day, never said much. Just knelt down, tied the laces, and walked me to my mailbox so I wouldn't fall. The courtroom went quiet in a different way now. Not bored quiet. Listening quiet. Nobody paid him. Nobody asked him. His own father left when he was 8. His mother works 2 jobs just to keep lights on. And still, every single morning, rain or shine, that boy showed up for an old man nobody else even waves to anymore. The judge's eyes moved to Caleb. The boy still hadn't lifted his head. So when I heard he got arrested for breaking a window at that hardware store, the veteran continued. I didn't believe it. Not for 1 second. So I went and asked around myself. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Turns out the store owner's security camera caught the whole thing. I asked to see it. And what it showed wasn't a boy breaking in to steal something. He unfolded the paper and set it gently on the judge's bench. It showed him breaking the glass to get a fire extinguisher off the wall. Because the apartment building next door was on fire, and he saw smoke coming from the 2nd floor before anyone else did. He used that extinguisher on the stairwell so a family could get out. Then he ran. Because he was scared. Because he thought nobody would believe a kid like him. For a long moment, nobody in that courtroom breathed. Judge Harrison picked up the paper. His hands weren't quite steady anymore either. Here's the thing about this story. The biggest moment hasn't even happened yet. Keep watching, because what the judge does next isn't just about one case. It's about what kind of world we still get to live in. The judge looked at the store's written statement, then the fire department's incident log stapled behind it. Real. Verified. Timestamped the exact night of the arrest. He set it down slowly. Why didn't your lawyer bring this forward? He asked Caleb directly. The boy finally looked up. His eyes were red, but his voice, when it came, was small and honest. I didn't think anyone would check. The judge was quiet for a moment. Then he turned to the veteran still standing there. Why did you go through all this trouble? He's not your grandson. Not your family. The old man's answer came without hesitation. Because 30 years ago, when I came home from war with nothing and nobody, a stranger gave me a job when everyone else looked away. He didn't have to, but he did. And I promised myself that if I ever got the chance to do the same for someone the world had already given up on, I would. He looked down at Caleb. This boy tied an old man's shoes every morning for 6 months and never once bragged about it. That tells me everything I need to know about his character. Judge Harrison sat back in his chair. The room waited. Case dismissed, he said quietly. And Caleb, the fire department would like to speak with you. Apparently, they've been trying to find the boy who saved that family. The courtroom erupted into something between tears and applause. Caleb finally stood up straight for the first time all morning, and the old veteran put a steady hand on his shoulder, the same way you'd expect a proud grandfather to. Sometimes the person nobody's watching is the one quietly holding everything together. And sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to stand up and say, "Wait, you don't know the whole story yet." If this story moved you, subscribe for more real, human stories about kindness, courage, and the people who never stop believing in each other.